All right, welcome back. I hope you're doing well. This is week 62 of the preparation. If you don't know, 62 weeks ago, I started a program meant mainly for young men, and I've been the beta tester, the guinea pig for it. And it's all about putting college and a dead-end job, putting all that aside, putting the military aside, putting all those commonly treaded paths aside to go your own way, find your own path, to acquire as many skills as you can on your own within the course of at least 4 years, and just to see how much you can actually get done on your own accord instead of relying on a already implemented system to bring you to success, which most of the time they will not. Like college, for example. Or going to the military, then you become a slave to the government. So neither one of those are good options. And of course, then you have a dead-end job, and that's not a good deal either. So for 62 weeks, I've been able to learn a lot of skills and become better in many, many different ways. I mean, if you want to know more about what I'm doing, I recommend you check out my Substack page, which is in the description, where I've posted what I've done every single week for the past almost a year. In a few months, it'll be a year. I started at 18 weeks in. I started posting those updates at 18 weeks in. So if you want to know more about it, then check out the Substack. But week 62, it's not been the most interesting week. That's for sure. But that's all right. In my last video, I mentioned building a chicken tractor to make more money on the ranch here. A chicken tractor is basically a mobile enclosure that you can put up to 75 meat chickens in. You move them every day to let them eat more grass, eat bugs, and also fertilize the land at the same time. And over the course of 8 weeks, you buy them when they're chicks, then you keep them until they're 8 weeks old, when they're big enough to be processed, butchered, and sold. So one of the big things this week was trying to find all the materials to build one of these chicken tractors. And the whole goal is to just build one for now, get 50 to 75 chicks, raise them, and then see if it can be profitable to actually do that here. So we'll see, because I don't know where to go to find all the materials here, and that's been one of the biggest hurdles already so far, is trying to figure that out, because one of the most important pieces of that is obviously the frame. The frame of the entire enclosure is pretty much all wood. I mean, it is all wood. And the wood they have here in Uruguay is much harder, much more dense, and because of that, much more difficult to build with. And that's why most buildings here aren't made out of wood. It's more of a adobe style type thing, or metal instead. Just because, I mean, even trying to chop wood here is ridiculously difficult. You're gonna dull the head of your axe before you get through even just a few pieces of wood. It's that dense. The fibers are so strong too that it's hard to burn wood here. Much harder to burn wood here because the fibers are so dense, the heat cannot kind of break through and ignite the fibers as easily. So it's a bit difficult, but the big thing is trying to find wood that is high quality enough that it won't split, is easy to work with, and not ridiculously expensive. So that'll be the next part of the process, is figuring out where that is, and then buying all the materials. And once we have that, we can buy the chicks, 50 to 75, and then we'll finally start. So who knows when that will be exactly. Hopefully sometime soon. I expect it'll be sooner than later, but we shall see. We shall see. That's been one big thing this week. Going to town, figuring out the prices of everything. A chick here, they give us a quote of about $2 per chick, which isn't too bad considering you could probably sell a pasture-raised chicken here for around $30, which seems expensive and is expensive, but a non-pasture-raised chicken here can go for like $22 to $25, depending on weight, maybe a little less than that. But a good weighted non-pasture-raised chicken is still expensive by itself here. So if you're selling one for $30, even if you did a buy one get one free deal, you're still going to make more than enough money to at least pay for the materials. That's not including feed, because feed is also a notable expense. And actually, even if you did buy one get one free, it would pay for the cost of the chicks as well at $2 per chick, which really isn't that bad. So yeah, that's hopefully something that's gonna actually come into reality very soon here. There's that, and then this week we also fixed one of the stone walls that was broken by a tree that fell during a windstorm just before I got here. And I've only ever done, it's crappy masonry work, but I've only ever done that kind of work one time before to build something small. Just mixing concrete and then actually applying it to build something. And we didn't do the prettiest job in the world. We are definitely not qualified to do it professionally. But me and Mike Casero, we fixed the wall after the tree was knocked down on top of it and broke it apart, just the corner. So that was another fun thing to do, something interesting. It just took 2 days. We did it one day, let it dry overnight, then finished it the next day. Doesn't look the prettiest, like I said, but it'll work. At least it should work. We'll see if it collapses anytime soon. Probably not, but who knows. That was another thing. And the final notable event for the week was working with the cattle. It's calving season right now, and we had to bring all the cows to the corral to determine which ones are still pregnant, which ones have given birth, and which ones we are going to need to artificially inseminate next time. So we did that, and we also had to give them another parasite vaccination, which, it's all good to do. It's good to do all that stuff in one great sweep instead of bringing them to the corral over and over again to do all those little jobs. So that was a lot of fun. And while we were doing that work, we actually got a new calf. A new calf was born as we were in the corral. And that was very cute. As you can imagine, it can't walk very well, just being born. So I got to carry the little guy back to the herd once we moved him out of the corral. That was nice. So yeah, 3 more notable events for the week. I've been lifting weights 6 out of 7 days every week, and that's been going well. And then chess, I did it 6 out of 7 days this week. I'm making slow progress. I think any progress in chess, except for when you just start out, is very slow. And a lot of times it makes you feel like an idiot, but that's just how it goes. And then the final activity for the week was Spanish. I'm doing Spanish class with a tutor 5 days a week, an hour a day from Monday to Friday. And then on the weekends, I do 30 minutes of just listening to a Spanish class recording. And that's been helping a lot. Definitely noticed improvements in my Spanish since I started with the tutor. Even though we started off with very basic stuff, now we've moved on to some more difficult things, like all the different types of past tense there are in Spanish, which is, there's too many. Honestly, there are way too many. You can't just say, I was, I were, they were. It changes based upon the context or based upon what you're trying to say. There's different past tense for storytelling than there is for like saying a one-time thing. Like, for example, if you were to say, I was on the farm last week doing mowing the fields. If that's a reoccurring thing that you do, then it's a different type of past tense than if you were to say, I was mowing the fields on the farm last week. And it was a one-time thing. So if it's a one-time thing versus a reoccurring thing, it's different. And it's honestly confusing. And that would be super easy to mess up in some way if you just aren't sure. If it's not ingrained in you to go, I just automatically use this type of past tense, it's gonna be confusing. So, but that's all right. Over time with repetition, it'll become second nature. Same thing with future tense, which we haven't got to yet in class, but we will at some point. We will, for sure. So yeah, other than that, I have done some reading. I finished Your Successful Farm Business by Joel Salatin, which is a good book. I also started reading The Unsettling of America by Wendell Berry and You Can Farm by Joel Salatin, which all seem to be good books thus far, but I've just started, so I can't really give a good description, good summary of how they are. But yeah, that's the update for the week. Nothing too exciting, but stuff was done, which was nice. The weeks where nothing gets done at all absolutely suck. So if you can have weeks of success, or at very least a week of like very slow, steady progress, anything is better than nothing at all. So it was a decent week, but I'll talk to you guys next week and see you guys then.